When Larry Bird finally broke his silence on Caitlin Clark, the basketball world came to a halt. Not an easy feat in a sport that thrives on the rapid back and forth of a fast-paced game. Bird, who has always been as economical with his words as he was with his shots, rarely steps into the public spotlight for anything these days. That's what made this moment all the more significant. For Bird to take notice, Clark must have done something remarkable, and indeed, she has. But before we proceed further, don't forget to smash that like button and subscribe. Bird is a legend who doesn't throw praise around lightly. He isn't the type to hop on social media, react to every highlight, or toss out compliments. To Bird, basketball isn't about showmanship. It's about grit, sweat, and nailing the fundamentals. His silence speaks as loudly as his words, and when he finally breaks it, it's usually because something, or someone, demands his respect. For Caitlin Clark, that something was her ferocity on the court, a style that reminded Bird of the way he once played, with a determination that bordered on stubbornness. Clark, the Iowa sensation, has captivated fans with a playing style that's equal parts skill and swagger. There's something undeniably compelling about the way she commands the court, shooting three-pointers from distances that would make even Steph Curry blink twice. She doesn't just play. She competes with a fearlessness that speaks to every player who's ever dared to take an impossible shot or go up against an opponent twice their size. Bird noticed that spirit. He saw the hunger in Clark, the drive to win at all costs, a trait he knew well. Bird, however, didn't just mention her skill set. That would have been too easy, too obvious. Instead, he dug deeper, touching on the way Clark uses the court, almost manipulating the space around her. Bird himself was known for being a court visionary, able to see openings and create chances before anyone else even realized they were there. In Clark, he saw someone who shared that gift, that ability to make the court bend to her will. Watching her, Bird found himself marveling at her understanding of the game's nuances, a rare sight in today's game, dominated by flash and speed. What was fascinating, though, was the way Bird chose to frame his admiration. He wasn't overly sentimental, nor did he gush about her accomplishments. Instead, Bird talked about Clark in a straightforward way, a tone that almost sounded as if he were analyzing one of his own moves from his Celtics days. There was no need for flowery language. Bird has always been a man who cuts to the chase. He spoke of her as an equal, someone who had earned her stripes and in doing so, had earned his respect. Humor is something Bird rarely uses in his interviews, but he slipped it in this time, albeit subtly. If she ever wants to learn how to trash talk properly, she knows where to find me, he chuckled. Coming from a man famous for his legendary taunts, this was high praise. In his heyday, Bird's ability to psych out his opponents was almost as famous as his deadly jump shot. When he saw Clark talking back, pushing her teammates, and not backing down from defenders, Bird saw a kindred spirit, a player unafraid to challenge the status quo and embrace the mental side of the game. Clark, for her part, has demonstrated a level of mental toughness that Bird admires. She plays with an intensity that makes people sit up and pay attention, not unlike Bird himself. Bird's admiration was laced with a hint of nostalgia, as though seeing Clark play brought him back to a time when he was the one making bold plays, winning over crowds and shaking off doubters. He saw in her the same tenacity that drove him through countless games, the same focus that made him a legend. But Bird wasn't simply reminiscing. He was giving credit where it was due. Bird's endorsement of Clark is more than just praise. It's an acknowledgement from one of the sport's all-time greats. He's essentially welcoming her into a club that only a handful of players ever get to join. For Bird, this is as close as he'll get to passing the torch. It's a way of saying you're doing it right. Keep going. And that, coming from Larry Bird, is monumental. He saw in Clark a player who could carry forward the old-school mentality he cherishes, an attitude that respects the game, values hard work, and doesn't rely solely on the glitz and glamour that has permeated modern sports. Bird's words have also opened up a dialogue about what it means to truly play the game right. While some fans get lost in stats and highlight reels, Bird's comments underscore something deeper, an appreciation for the players who bring heart to the game. Bird wasn't just talking about Clark's scoring ability or her shooting range. He was talking about her approach, her fearlessness, and her knack for taking on challenges. It's the kind of praise that goes beyond numbers and awards, focusing instead on the essence of what makes a player unforgettable. By choosing to speak out about Clark, Bird has unintentionally reignited a debate among fans about the evolution of basketball. His comments bring to light the shift from the gritty, defense-heavy style that defined his era to today's high-scoring, three-point-focused game. Clark, who plays with a blend of both styles, has found a way to bridge that gap, She's a modern player with an old-school soul, and that's precisely why Bird took notice. She's found a way to honor the past while embracing the future, a balancing act that few manage to pull off with such poise. Larry Bird's endorsement of Caitlin Clark isn't just about recognizing talent. It's about seeing something familiar in a new package. Clark embodies the fierce independence and resilience that Bird believes is crucial to any great player's success. Bird has always believed that the best players are the ones who refuse to conform, who challenge norms and redefine the limits of what's possible. Clark, with her fearless approach and relentless drive, fits that mold perfectly. Bird didn't have to say much, but his respect for her spoke volumes. In many ways, Bird's acknowledgement of Clark represents a bridge between generations of basketball fans. For older fans, Bird's praise of Clark feels like a nod to the players who brought substance over style. It's a reminder that true greatness doesn't fade with time, it merely takes on new forms. For younger fans, Bird's words offer a new perspective on what it means to be a player who truly impacts the game. They see a player in Clark who isn't just trying to win games but is leaving a mark, much like Bird did in his time. And while Bird may have kept his words minimal, his admiration for Clark's game was anything but. He took note of her leadership, her willingness to push her teammates, and her unflinching confidence. For Bird, this is what basketball should be about. It's not just about scoring points or breaking records. It's about finding ways to make your team better, to push the game forward. Bird's endorsement serves as a reminder that players like Clark don't come along often. They're the ones who carry the torch, who respect the game's roots while finding ways to make it their own. Bird's message to Clark was as straightforward as he is: keep going. Keep pushing, keep fighting, and don't lose that edge. It's the same advice he would have given himself back in the day, and it's clear that he sees a bit of his own journey in hers, and for Clark, there's no higher compliment. To earn Bird's respect isn't just an achievement, it's a testament to her impact on the game and a challenge to keep doing what she does best. Bird's words carry weight, not because they're flashy or eloquent, but because they're genuine. He's a man of few words, and each one counts. When he says he respects Clark's game, he's not just saying it, he means it. It's a statement that resonates, that makes fans, players, and coaches alike stop and listen. Larry Bird doesn't hand out compliments often, and when he does, it's because he sees something worth acknowledging. In Clark, he sees a player who embodies the same principles that made him a legend, a player who respects the game and plays it the right way. The conversation Bird started with his words on Clark may well be one that basketball fans continue for years. It's a rare thing for a legend to recognize a rising star in such a profound way. Bird's admiration for Clark isn't just a passing remark, it's a moment of recognition, a way of saying that the game is in good hands. And for Caitlin Clark, there can be no higher praise. She's earned the respect of one of the game's greatest, and that's a testament to the impact she's already had on the sport. Bird's commentary isn't just an endorsement. It's an invitation for fans to take notice, to see what he sees. He's urging people to watch Clark, to appreciate her game not just for the points she scores, but for the spirit she brings to the court. It's a reminder that basketball is as much about heart as it is about skill, a sentiment that Bird has championed throughout his career. In Clark, he's found someone who understands that, someone who embodies the principles he's always valued. And that, more than anything, is why he chose to speak out. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to our channel for more engaging content. We thrive on your feedback, so be sure to leave your thoughts in the comments section below. Until next time, keep discovering and stay tuned.